Hello everyone, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. Let's get started with this critique of Air Force Junior ROTC color guard in competition. Can you see my cursor? There we go. Alright, 10 HUD is not a command, it's tench HUD for the Air Force. Also, I wanted to let you know, aluminum staffs, not authorized. They must be the wood guide-on light ash wood guide-on staffs. And Air Force bearer shouldn't have the Air Force flag. You can have the AFJROTC flag. I prefer to have teams use the AFJROTC flag instead of a state flag, because you really should be carrying at least an organizational flag. In competition, although I can see you're going through the motions in competition, going through step by step by step, and you're being evaluated on going through the each one of the commands. And one of the commands is obviously present arms a couple of times. The organizational flag for each branch of the military does not dip just because you give the command present arms. However, in competition, I can see where you're going through, like I said, going through those motions. Anyway, at least have the AFJROTC flag. So, but you're pushing it forward. You're pushing it forward like a guide-on, and it's not a guide-on. Only a guide-on is pushed forward. Flag staffs are not pushed forward at parade rest ever. So please stop doing that. Okay, notice that the slings are mounted incorrectly. They're all the way at the top of the rifle. The clasp at the top, not clasp, kind of a hook-like thing, has separation in it. It's not completely looped through. The separation allows for the stacking swivel. It allows for other rifles to be attached to that stacking swivel so that you can perform stack arms. Keep the mud and the snow and the rain and all that away from the rifle. So that's not the stacking swivel's not used. So left guard, that was a huge exaggeration there of lifting the rifle. You come up to port, and then you're going to both of you, it looks like you're forced to use Army technique here. So you're both at right shoulder, and I can see that the color bearers are not dropping their left hands. So you just said spade. Why did you say spade? What command is that? Where can I find it? You can't show me, so don't call it. Spade is not a command. You're going to check your spade when you fall in, and that's it. You fall in, you ground your color. You can't tuck your color because of regulation drill. So what you're going to do is you're going to look up really quickly, make sure, twist that staff to make sure that the spade is flat. The fringe is gathered, and it should be pointing to the rear. And then you come to attention. You're there, and everything's fine. Now, since you have aluminum staffs, you can't do this, but with the wood guide-on staff, you can take a little tiny thumbtack. Some even take a little piece of moleskin. It's kind of like a tape. It's colored similar to the wood, so it's a little less apparent that it's there. And then as you're gripping the staff, you can feel it with your index finger or your thumb, and you can know whether your spade is flat or not. And you can put it on a couple of different positions. So you can look up my article on my website called The Spade Marker, and that'll give you a description of that. But don't look up. Don't call whatever command you think that is to check your spade. I'm glad you're checking your spade. I appreciate that. It's just that's not a command, and this is not the time to do it. You're at attention, and you should stay there. So just FYI, I don't know about the competition, but Air Force color guard guards are on the outside shoulder, and we also cut the left hand away. I noticed that all of the buttons are showing for the commander. That's not appropriate. This is appropriate. This is where the belt is worn, right there. Between that second and third button, your belt is way down here. Doesn't matter where you wear your trouser belt. That's an individual thing. The ceremonial belt has an exact position of where it belongs on the uniform. And personal desire means absolutely nothing. Guards, you must swing your arms since you're using Army technique. Now, if you were at the outside shoulder, you would obviously not swing your arm, because three of you would be swinging an arm, and then the left guard would be swinging his right arm at the opposite time, and it would just look strange. So that's why Air Force, Marine Corps, Navy, Coast Guard don't swing their arms when marching. And it looks like you have your like I was talking about, the slings through the stacking swivel there. So too high. So Air Force tempo is 100 to 120. Pick 110, set your metronome to it, and march that tempo for everything, the entire routine. Whether you're at half step or mark time or marching forward, wheels, everything, still use that 110 mark. You're speeding up here, and you're also stomping, and that's a massive stomp too. Use your muscles, use your leg, your hip, your glute muscles to raise and lower the leg. Don't just stomp that foot down. So we march and stand at close interval, and the team is too close here. You need to tuck your gloves, and also both guards, you need to work on that technique of coming from right shoulder to the port position, grasp the small of the stock, and then come to present. Now, what you're doing is kinda sorta that, but you're not hitting the definite checkpoints. You're not coming directly to the port position. It's kind of an up here, out of the way type of situation. So, and you don't push the rifle away from you. It should be a 4-inch distance. Now, my fist, the average man's fist, is about 4 inches from knuckle to knuckle on the outside there. So you can put your fist right there and make sure that, yeah, you can see it. Make sure that that rifle is right there, pretty much up against the. Just because you're saying it fast doesn't mean that it sounds good. So for your reporting statement, in and out, make sure that you are enunciating, that you're not just throwing those words out as fast as you can. And write it down. Write both of your reporting statements down if they're going to change, and they should. A couple of words here and there, but write it down. Have it taped to the mirror in the morning when you're brushing your teeth, and you go over it in your mind, and then you say it when you're on your way to school, and then you say it when you're going in between classes, and then you say it when you're going home, and you say it at practice, and then you have it right on the table when you're eating your breakfast, and everywhere. Get it in your head and make sure that you have it, but don't just let the words slide out of your mouth as fast as possible. That's not going to be accurate, and it's not going to be intelligible either. It won't be able to be understood as a forceful report in.
Thank you, sir.
What was that command? Forward colors? What's that command? I've never heard of lower colors before. If you can show me in the manual, then I'll change my mind, but don't call it anymore. The command is, anyone? Order colors. Guards, you really need to brush up on your manual. Rifle is angled forward, fingers are wrapped around. Fingers are wrapped around here. The fingers need to be extended and joined at the side of the rifle. The rifle needs to be lowered so that all three toes, your two toes and the toes of the butt of the rifle, are all aligned. Rock the rifle back so that your thumb is along the trouser leg. Both of these rifles are resting completely on the butt so that the barrel, the tip of the barrel, angles forward, and you don't want that. Air Force bearer, you have the wrong grip here. Your thumb is in front. That's called the strong grip. The Marine Corps calls it the strong grip. You don't want that. You want the V grip, and unfortunately the Air Force uses the V grip all the time. So does the Army, and that's a little unfortunate. I appreciate the strong grip. I love the strong grip. It's my preferred grip when at order. However, Air Force cannot use it, so you're going to need to change that. Then also look, is the Air Force flag even on the deck here? It doesn't look like it. Either that or it's either up in the air. The ferrule right here is, oh, those aren't aluminum staffs. I apologize. So those are guidon staffs. That's a ferrule. It was the lighting earlier, and I apologize for that. Okay, so you have guidon staffs, but the ferrule here either looks like it's up in the air, off the deck, or it's up against the left shoe of the American flag bearer, and it should be up against your right shoe. Oh, I see. It's still way out there. Now it's in front of the left shoe of the American flag bearer. So you're standing too close together. You can't execute parade rest properly. What's the distance between heels? The inside heel to inside heel is 12 inches for the Air Force. So none of you can execute that move properly, and you're pushing the flag out as well. Remember, that's only for a guidon. Colors always remain at colors always remain vertical at parade rest, and commander, don't come to attention unless the SOP requires it. Don't come to attention. Air Force has a little tiny paragraph at the very beginning of the Air Force manual for drill and ceremonies that says if the commander is part of the group in which the commander is commanding, then the commander stays at parade rest, maintains that position to call commands for uniformity. So that small group would be the command staff for a parade, or a color guard, or even a flag detail. Left guard, you're using your knees. Spade. Don't call that. Don't look up. So immediately you start stomping, and you have to heel strike, roll that foot forward for half step, and you're executing a version of half step here, slightly altered for the team. But notice how the team, all of the team marches forward. The right guard should stay in place and only mark time while rotating. It takes 6 steps to rotate the 90 degrees. But watch here. See, coming forward. So everybody is making the arc, and the whole team is marching forward instead of having that right guard stay in place. So guards, you have to stay in place. And again, you can't march shoulder to shoulder. So was that counter march? You're being judged by, it looks like Marine Corps AFJROTC with the Marine Corps instructor there. So was that a counter march? command. It looked, or it sounded like it might be. It looks similar to counter march, but really open up the Marine Corps order 5060.20 and then look at the specifics of the move. Commander, you're not just going to turn around in place. The flag bearers actually they exchange positions. So, and that stomp, boy. Now, that was a little bit better. Left wheel march, take that extra right step, and then execute the movement on the left step. There, the left guard is actually staying in place. So it's the right guard that moves forward. Left guard is staying in place. All heads moved. Good pop. That was great. Harness sockets look to be pretty close in height. That's great. Yeah, you're just turning around, making a 180 to the left. And you'll be surprised what you learn when you open the Marine Corps order. Yeah, once you start actually marking time properly, which is the toe leaves the deck last and strikes the deck first. Once you do that, you're almost, it won't be silent, but it's going to be pretty close to silent as you mark time. It'll be a completely different experience for you as you mark time. So you're used to stomping, you're used to the muscle memory, you're used to the sound memory that you have as well. So you're going to have a big paradigm shift as you use these techniques, properly use these techniques. So notice that both of the flags are vertical, and they shouldn't be. Air Force has a slight angle forward, just slight. Now, how slight is slight? What does slight mean? Slight means that however forward the American flag is however forward every other flag is in the formation. So you always match to the right. And if you notice here, as the team stopped, I'll show you here. See how there's an angle with the Air Force flag? And then once the team stops, the angle is gone. So there's either a muscle memory issue, or you're not controlling the flag well enough so that it really, you should have it at an angle the entire time, whether you're stopped, whether you're marching forward, whether you're standing, either one. As you march by, notice there's a little bit of an angle to the Air Force flag. And so you went out of bounds, but you fixed it. So you knew how to fix it. And that's a good thing. That shows recovery. And judges appreciate recovery. However, what we appreciate even more is you practicing enough to where you don't go out of bounds. So, here's a good indication of how fast you're going when you mark time, in that both of the guards are still marching and not marking time, but the two who are marking time have sped up so much that both of the guards now have to increase their tempo just in marching to stay in step and hightail it and get back into line. And notice here there's an alignment issue during the left wheel. You notice how the two left members of the team moved independently almost of the two right members. They kind of caught up. It looked a little bit like this. They started out here, but then came to here, and then the two outside, the right members, caught up eventually. So alignment and spacing issues. Now, once you change your spacing, it's going to be a new ball game for you, that's for sure. In trying to maintain your distance the entire time, it's much more difficult. See how the team again kind of moved almost independently of each other on that last left wheel. So, left guard, not only did you use your knees when you were bringing the rifle up, but as you're moving the rifle, your whole body is moving up and down. So you've got to make sure that your torso, every part of you is solid and not moving except your arms, so that you can move that rifle independently of everything else.
AFJROTC here tonight for the West Minister execute with that, sir. Thank you, sir. Over. Out. Left wheel. March.
So wonder what command you gave to go to port. I'm glad you left at port. That's good. That works well. You're no longer the focus. The colors need to come down. That's good. Should have been port arms, and then you step off. Are those metal tabs? I don't believe they're authorized. So, and I don't keep up with JROTC uniform information. It's just much too much to ever remember. Okay, so lots of comments, and I've only been talking for, wow, 23 minutes. Got to be a record of, I usually go for 40, 45, even 50 minutes for color guard. So, and I'm trying to be as concise as possible. I hope my comments are helpful. If you have any questions, please direct message me, comment below, whatever you choose, that's fine. Thanks.